Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Love them knives here, LTK. Got some knives here. With Armour is the brand. Dylan Mallery is the designer. And I want to talk about both these knives today. With Armour, I've done several knives of the With Armour brand, and this is very different because I'm familiar with Dylan Mallery because he has worked with Artisan on the Archeo, and I got this from Artisan Cutlery. And they have large and small, and then they have them in carbon fiber, and then they have them in G10 in large and small also. So I'm familiar with him, and I'm also familiar with the fact that CJRB is the budget arm of Artisan Cutlery now. As you can see that, CJRB. And this is another Mallery design. So I just wanted to let you know, yes, he's a known designer out there. And he collaborated with, and I'm going to go, he collaborated with Armour. With Armour. Oh man, that's tough. That's tough. Not Under Armour, with Armour. And yes, these are budget knives, users, whatever, blue G10. I wanted to talk about both of them because they're both very, very similar other than, the design differs. And do they deserve their own video each individually? Yeah, but I thought it really made sense to put these together. 0.45 inches thick, I think, if my mind still remembers, but I'll go over that, like 2.75 millimeter thick blade stock, not real thick. And fortunately and unfortunately, there's a lot of billboarding here, but 61 HRC, D2 steel, here they are. They're talking about it right like that. And I've got paperwork here where if you go right onto the With Armour site, they talk about the knife. Okay, it's got ball bearings. It's designed in the USA, of course it is. 61 HRC is the stated hardness. 3.5 inch blade. It basically is a 3.5 inch blade, and it's 8 inches overall. I just thought it was interesting that they would print the HRC hardness on their blade. And you know what? That's kind of like an invitation, right? To prove them right or to prove them wrong. And so these will go into testing, and we'll get the HRC right off the machine. So we'll find out how close to that 61 they really are. Ooh, clicked it the wrong way. And there you go, dropped it down. This one, yeah, that's centered. No blade plate, no lock rock. This one as well, no blade plate, no lock rock. This one's called the Sheepsfoot. I know that's very imaginative, isn't it? Sheepsfoot. And this is the Dro, D-R-O. As if, there you go, D-R-O. Looks like a B, doesn't it? I've scribbled all over the damn place. And there's the model number. It was so weak on this box that I just wrote on top of it. So WA078BK, BK for black, I'm sure. It's like a black wash blade of D2. And let's get a piece of paper out. See if they can cut anything. Okay. Just like that. Next one. You're up, buddy. Okay. They're reasonably, they're just not, the paper's not like jumping off the page, but they have a reasonable amount of sharpness, factory edge on them. but a fairly thin blade stock. Yeah, let's just call it 2.75 right in there, which is, oh, by the way, well, come on, let's give me millimeters. Yeah, that's inches. I'm sorry, 2.75 millimeters, 0.106 inches. This should be pretty much identical. 0.10, yeah, pretty close. 108, somewhere in there. So, yeah, 2.75. 0.45, like I said before. 11.5 millimeters. And they're both the same, what I can remember. Yeah, 11.5 millimeters, 0.45. So, just about the exact same thickness as the paramilitary 2. So, fairly slender in the pocket. They do have contoured G10 scales. They have blue, and let me grab my magnet while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that's definitely steel, and they got steel liners inside, so it'd be hard to tell, but those are steel screws, steel pocket clip. It's some kind of coating that they put on there. And, you know, give it a little bit of pop, a little bit of color on both these knives. Backside, pocket clip, not deep carry, but there's 2 screws securing it. How is that? You don't really feel it. That's pretty mellow. I'm not feeling it. You got a front choil here. Okay. Front sharpening choil here. Flipper tabs, that seems like it's really sticking down a lot. Now, on, you know, in one argument, yeah, I mean, it's holding your hand back. The other, it's a little taller than it probably needed to be, and there's no jimping at all. Okay. I'd say it's a little taller than it needed to be, but not too horribly obtuse. And yes, the cutouts, you can finger flick. So you can kick it open that way, or you can use the flipper tab. And really the detent is pretty solid here. Okay, I can feel it. But I can't throw it out. Last I tried. No, I can't throw it out, so I can't gravity flip it. And it's a liner lock, so I'm not squeezing anything here, but I can't throw it out. So I'd call that at least a 5.6, 5.7. So they're pretty stout as far as the detent goes. And they're centered, and they're also pretty efficient. Well, look at the design. Flows fine. And then look at the blade. And we're pretty much using everything we can. I mean, you can't really do much better than that with this here on the end. So you got to fit it all in. You got that sheep's foot coming down. Yeah, you're pretty good there. I was looking at that a little earlier, trying to figure out, was that pretty efficient use? And that's pretty efficient use right there. So that's all squared away. That's all good. You know, the fact that these blades aren't real fat means that they should be better slicers than not. They kick right in. They have reasonably good action, you know. And I haven't taken them apart or anything. We got to let this get over the detent ball. Right there. Yeah. So, and you can adjust this pivot here. It's a number 8, and these are number 6s here. But just fairly standard. Let me show you. Yeah, here's the ball bearings. So they look like regular steel bearings. They're not ceramic or anything. This is a backspacer, this G10. They have the same color, both knives. And there's your lockup. That's 50%. And that's close to it. That's 40% on the left side here. This one's beyond that, maybe. It's hard to tell because everything's black. I'd say that's 50 on the right and 40 on the left. And you know, they're 3.5 inches, 8 inches overall. Nothing complicated there. 90 millimeters, 8 inches, about 20 to 20.5 centimeters. With armor. These knives, to me, do not feel quite as sophisticated as like Best Tech G10 knives, and I don't know if it's because they're thinner, because you look at everything and you go, okay, G10 backspacer, contoured G10, scales, okay, steel hardware, okay, D2 blades, okay, you know, so maybe it's just the fact that like Best Tech, it's thicker in the hand, so it does feel different, and you've got heavier blade stock, so maybe that's part of it. And then if you look at the actual liner, the difference in the thickness of the liner here is way different, way different. So it has a different feel to it because of that. And I don't know why else it feels different in the hand, but it does. So it feels different. I don't know if you know, if I can equate anything from that other than thinner blade stock, thinner liner, but, you know, they're both using G10. They're both using regular, you know, steel hardware. Pocket clips aren't all that different. So, yeah, I guess this feels thicker, heavier all the way around. This isn't, and this might be preferable in some ways because it's more slender, easier to slide in and out of your pocket and not really notice it because of this. Throw this out here as opposed to a 0.45. Yeah, I mean, we got a 0.55, so it's definitely fatter and probably a lot heavier. And let's throw these on the scale, by the way. Hope you're getting a good look at them. I mean, the thing that I like about it is they're a Mallery design. So I like the design of them because I like his work generally. And I saw these on his Instagram. So that's why I went to get these. And you can get the With Armour brand knives from White Mountain Knives, and then you can get 10% off. And I think this thing was sitting there at around $48, so almost $5 off. You're about $43 delivered. So it's not an expensive knife. 90 grams. Let's throw this one on. I'll bet it's heavier. Yeah, a little bit, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Yeah. 3.38 ounces. 3.2 ounces. So both of these knives are lighter weight than the Paramilitary 2, even though they're about the same size. And this, well, see, that's another ounce right there. An ounce and some, depending. 4.7 to 3.2, an ounce and a half. So yeah, they do feel different. This is heavier, thicker, fatter. Liners are fatter. Action feels a little nicer, although I've had this for a while. And I can't, it's hard to put that judgment out on a knife that you really haven't been working with for a long time. So hate to say anything up front about that, but they're different. They've got another knife that sounds really intriguing as well. And I'm going to ask Justin to see if he can get it, because this one also looks interesting, don't you think? I mean, I saw it and I go, ooh, that's really interesting too. 8.3 inches, it's D2, supposed to be 61 to 63 HRC. So I'm going to have them tested. We'll find out. I'm sure they're D2, whether they're that hardness level, and then flip them over to one of our guys in our group that does cutting performance tests, see what they cut like. Hey, if I can get one for $43 all in delivered, and they're really going to actually perform fairly well, okay, that's good. And having a Mallery design, that's just a lot to put on a blade, isn't it? Even for me, and I usually don't mind billboarding, but this could have been much smaller, and then you could have put the little Mallery logo there, and like D2 could have hidden it somewhere, and really you didn't need to do this. That's insane. Yeah, I don't think Dylan was terribly happy with that either. It's a shooter. What do you think? They're fairly easy to disengage, by the way. See the pass through? Yeah. So, I mean, they do give you a pass through that's got jimping on that liner, so you can disengage them. Not that difficult. Wanted to put them both in the video. Now I've run you forever here, but appreciate it. I just thought it was something for consideration in case this is a design you want. I mean, I like the Mallery stuff, and he's going to do some stuff also, continue with the CJRB, and who God only knows who else. So it's kind of interesting to see his designs out and about, and at this price it's affordable as well. So I'll let you know in the future how they test out. We'll go from there. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you with Armour, and we'll go on down the road, maybe pick up some other with Armour knife models and see how they look as well. Check them out on the channel. Always nice to have new brands on here, because you know what we do around here. We love them knives, so you guys stay sharp.